That is country music star and restaurant owner John Rich. This was a big weekend for many restaurants as they reopened after being closed for weeks. One of those restaurants to reopen was the Redneck Riviera in Nashville. Was it a successful weekend? Well, joining us now is the owner of that restaurant, country music star John Rich. John, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Sean. Good to be with you.
So you were closed for a while. How difficult was it economically and financially during that period for you and a lot of the other restaurants that you are aware of?
Absolutely brutal. I mean, you can only imagine a business completely built on live music and big crowds of people and tourism. And then something like COVID-19 hits. I mean, that's it. It's game over when that happens. So that was March 15th that they shut us down. And we made the decision at Redneck Riviera to continue paying our employees as if nothing had changed in hopes that something would happen through the government. And sure enough, PPP showed up, 4 or 6 weeks later, something like that. But in the meantime, our employees never went without a paycheck, which I'm pretty proud of that. And now that's not necessarily what people would call good business, other than for a guy like me, I say it's great business because it shows where your heart is, that you care about your people and you want to keep your business intact. So when it does reopen, like it just did, you still got all the best people in town working at your place.
Yeah, good on you. I mean, that really speaks a lot to your character, that you were taking care of these folks. Let me ask you this. How did Friday go when you reopened? And how sustainable is this idea that a lot of places are saying you have to be at 50% capacity? I just don't understand how a restaurant that if you built out your business model on, like, say, 100 seats and they tell you now you can only have 50 seats, or you have a bar and you're telling people to socially distance, that you're going to be able to bring in enough revenue to keep going.
Well, you're not going to make money. In other words, you're not going to be in the black doing it that way. But the hope is that at least here in the short term, at least that 50% capacity, keeps the lights on, keeps your employees paid, and you're not going backwards. The hope is that at least it maybe is even a break even or close to break even situation until we can actually turn it all the way back on. And that's really the best hope we can have for it right now.
John, you're not requiring customers to wear masks. How has that been so far in the restaurant? Are people handling that okay?
Well, so our state, the state of Tennessee and Nashville, we have a conservative governor and we have a liberal mayor in Nashville, and they both put out the guidelines for phase 1, 2, 3, 4 in our state and in our town, and they don't require customers to wear masks. Now, employees have to wear masks. If I go in there, it's a temperature check. I've got a mask on. But if a customer comes in that's not wearing a mask, we offer them a mask. We say, hey, here's a mask if you'd like to wear a mask, and it's their choice. I'll tell you one thing that encourages me a great deal is to see our customers ask for a mask. They stay the 6 or 8 feet apart. Nobody has tried to buck any of the rules. They're just really happy to have a place where they can have a Redneck Riviera whiskey and Coke and a barbecue sandwich and get back to normal even just a little bit. It seems to be a big morale booster right now.
John, you cross a lot of different businesses. You've got the Redneck Riviera whiskey, you got the bar, you tour, your music. As a guy that's seeing this from a lot of different business angles, what do you think about the government's response to how this is being handled? You mentioned you have a conservative governor and a liberal mayor. How has the government overall been to address the concerns that you have seen in the different businesses?
I think that the PPP coming in obviously had to happen. I honestly think you're going to see certain industries that may require another round of that. If you think about the entertainment business, they're telling us don't expect any concerts until possibly May, April of 2021. Now, while that might not sound like a big deal to people, okay, Tim McGraw won't be able to play a concert, or Big and Rich. Yeah, but you forget about bus drivers, truck drivers, caterers, light guys, sound guys, promoters, all the people that set up the chairs and tear down the events. And when you extrapolate that across our whole country and the entire touring industry, it's millions of Americans that will not be seeing any income for that period of time. So actually, Sean, we're holding on to the hope that a vaccine comes along earlier, or there's some type of medical breakthrough that allows us to get back to work sooner than later. But right now, it's quite a bleak circumstance, to be honest with you.
John, I know the governor on May 22nd, he's releasing capacity restrictions for large venues in Tennessee. Do you think that that will be helpful, that people will get back out and try to tour specifically in Tennessee?
I think they will little by little. I think we've all been made very well aware that this virus can kill you. This virus is nasty. You don't want to give this virus to anybody else. And that's been drilled into our heads. We're all very well aware. We're big boys and girls. We understand the risk factors of going into any building or any place for that matter. So I'm confident that the American people will come back out when they're comfortable coming out. And as a business owner, I'm going to make sure that my place is up to code, up to spec, and as safe as humanly possible when they do show up.
You mentioned touring, and I think it's so right what you're saying. How many people's livelihood depends on those tours going on? It's the guys who pour the beer, take the tickets. All of those things depend on you touring. The thing that I'm having a hard time wrapping my head around is that, when you go to a concert, whether it's an outdoor venue or, a concert hall right there in Nashville, people are usually either seated or standing right next to each other. Right now, I'm having a hard time getting a grip as to what this is going to look like in the next few months, because how do you have a concert where people are 6 feet apart in any way that's financially sustainable?
Well, I've thought of an interesting way around that, Sean. I'd like to run it by you right now. This is breaking news.
Okay.
So what if so we have 6 feet apart, but what if we also hand out 6-foot stilts so you can have an entire half the crowd 6 feet up? See, everybody talks about 6 feet apart. Nobody's talking about 6 feet up. So I'm just wondering if maybe we can re-examine the actual dynamics of these crowds.
This is why you're a good businessman. Always thinking. All right. Well, I appreciate you joining us. Thank you. I hope all of your ventures continue to do well, and thank you for what you did for your employees. That really speaks to you and to what a great person you are. So I know they probably appreciate it, and I know that's probably another reason why customers stop in there.
Well, we love them, and we're doing the best we can. And go America. That's all I got to say. Go America.
Will do. On stilts.
All right. Well, there's a lot more to break down. Sean and I are going to talk about the economy reopening when we return.